My promise is to build upon the work of the leaders before me and to extend the conversation and direct the work in new, equitable ways to reflect the needs of our changed county. My priority is to make sure that our work as a body is seamless, productive, and accountable to our residents. "2019 was a year of change for our county. 4 new council members and a new executive. Congratulations. I led this council at a time of immense change, and I'm proud and humbled to say that I met this challenge head on. My 2019 presidency kicked off with a year-long goal to introduce and adopt a racial equity and social justice legislation to institutionalize the norms of racial equity and social justice into the work of county government. After several county-wide community conversations, the council took the input from residents and incorporated them into the Racial Equity and Social Justice Bill.
Not just education of the youth, but also of adults. The possibility of offering after-school classes for any community member, just on how to approach people of different races and building that greater acceptance within the community, but not just focusing on children.
The bill creates a new Office of Racial Equity and Social Justice in the executive branch, which will put in place parameters the council and executive can use to measure progress. An advisory committee made up of public members who are compensated was also created. I am convinced that unless we have a framework and unless we have legislation that mandates us to look at the data carefully and really truly consider and have deliberations that look at whether our decisions are going to exacerbate or whether they are going to close these disparities, we will be here 30 years from now. The bill also requires the Montgomery County Planning Board to consider racial equity and social justice issues when preparing master plans such as land use, transportation, and public facilities that are submitted to the council. Additional enacted legislation that furthers racial equity is the Crown Act, which I was proud to co-sponsor with Councilmember Will Jawando. The bill protects natural hairstyles such as braids, locks, afros, curls, and twists from discrimination. The Crown Act allows individuals who are discriminated against because of the appearance of their natural hair to seek a civil penalty of up to $5,000. The bill not only covers discrimination in employment, but also in public accommodations, taxi services, admissions to group homes, and cable services. Wonderful. Well, there goes the budget. Okay. Yay! Budget time was particularly a busy time for all of us. Shepherding the council through this process is one of the main responsibilities of the council president. We unanimously approved the county's $5.8 billion budget for FY 2020. The council also funded the Board of Education's nearly $3 billion request. The 2020 budget held the line on taxes and increases reserves to the targeted 10%. At the end of the day, a budget isn't just about dollars and cents. A budget reflects the values of a community. I am proud to say that the fiscal year 2020 budget lights the flame for a bright fiscal future that will benefit Montgomery County and its residents in a manner that is fair and equitable for all. As the Government Operations and Fiscal Policy Chair, I'm especially proud that during my tenure, the county was able to maintain our AAA bond rating for the 46th consecutive year, the longest held by any county in the United States.
What's your name?
An area of great significance during my presidency was the relationship between the police and the community it serves. The Community Policing Bill that I introduced along with Councilmember Craig Rice aims to provide guidelines for police department to employ and promote core community policing values among officers. It also requires the Montgomery County Police Department provide an annual report on workforce diversity, community engagement activities, the number of complaints filed against officers, officer suspensions, and other data. The United States is the only developed nation with a growing aging population and a young population. This young population is socioeconomically, racially, and ethnically diverse and disproportionately affected by an opportunity gap that leads to an academic achievement gap. To maintain our competitive edge as a nation and ensure that our workforce is prepared for the rapidly evolving job market, we must be strategic and invest in the early years. It is the best return on investment and prepares all of our children. It is the great equalizer. To that end, I authored the framework that created the Montgomery County Early Care and Education Initiative, a $7 million investment to provide access to a top and quality early education. And we hope to be able to repeat the $7 million investment for the next 4 years. As part of the initiative, a second early childhood education center in Gaithersburg opened its door this fall.
Since my son started here, I've saw great improvement in his speech, for one. So I have been very happy. And he's coming home telling me all the sorts of things that he's been doing.
We continue to make strategic investments to bring new jobs to the county and strengthen our tax base for years to come by investing in all corners of the county. Wheaton is a prime example. The community eagerly welcomed the opening of the new Wheaton Library and Community Recreation Center, a $70 million investment nestled between the Wheaton and Glenmont communities. This 21st century amenity now also includes increased and strengthened senior services to serve our aging population, thanks to the special appropriation that I introduced and the full council unanimously supported. During my presidency, the council also approved the Veers Mill Corridor Master Plan, which seeks to enhance pedestrian and traffic safety on that busy road, improve public transportation choices for residents, and increase the number of affordable housing units in the area. Another of my proudest moments was the unanimous adoption of my resolution to support the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments' regional housing targets for Montgomery County. The target for the county is 41,000 units, and I am confident that we will be able to achieve this goal by the year 2030. Housing is a critical component of our economic development strategy, especially when it's located in our activity centers. On that note, I also introduced the council's own economic development platform, which outlines a plan to make Montgomery County an attractive place for new businesses. Through business development, housing, transportation, and workforce development, the plan hopes to grow the tax base through economic incentives. I also oversaw 20 appointments, including some notable firsts. Partap Verma, the first Asian Indian and openly gay member of the planning board, Megan Davi Limarzi became the first female inspector general, and Angela Talley is the first female African American to lead the Department of Corrections. After months of a long search, the council confirmed Acting Police Chief Marcus Jones to the permanent post. This year, I was honored to be named by Washingtonian Magazine as one of their 150 most powerful women in the D.C. area. This is the second time that I have been recognized by the magazine for that distinction. I was recognized in the local politics and government category among some very notable women. As the first Latina immigrant to be elected to the Montgomery County Council, I feel honored every day to be leading an energetic and focused legislative body. We have been inclusive in our work while also having some fun. Hey, we even dance salsa in this chamber. 2019 was a year of many firsts under my presidency. From my racial equity legislation to my economic development platform, I have set in place actionable and measurable systems to make sure Montgomery County is always moving forward. We ensured accountability through structural reform in the Office of the Inspector General and audited the staffing and management structure of the County Council so that our institutions are appropriate and responsive for today's diverse constituency. Thank you to each one of my council colleagues for the opportunity to lead us through such a transformational year.